What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. We are back with another Survivor podcast, episode 3. Awesome stuff is happening in this episode. So, my name is Rachel.
And I'm Alyssa. On Sunday, we talked to you guys about the tribe swap and what we thought it would mean for today's episode. And we actually got to see the tribe swap happen, and that was pretty exciting because everyone was all like, kumbaya, like, I love my tribe. It's so great. And then their plans all got screwed.
Yes, Jeff broke the news to them. Their faces after Jeff asked them questions like, tribe unity, yes. And then they were all just like, oh crap, 2 to 3, that's a huge switch. So, the Bion tribe is now Jeremy, Kelly Wigglesworth, Spencer, Kimmy, Steven, and Monica. Takeo is Sierra, Joe, Cass, Kelly Wentworth, Terry, and Keith. And the new Anchor tribe, sucks for them, they have to rebuild camp, is Abby, Jeff, PG, Savage, Tasha, and Woo.
Well, on Sunday, when we predicted whether or not the tribes would be any good, we put Takeo at the top spot, and that was a good choice on our part. But we said that Bion was the weakest, but they actually were pretty good, and I think that was mostly because they were able to embrace their team unity, whereas the Anchor tribe, they had the 4 and the 2, but then Abby and PG obviously had a lot of disagreements. And
Yeah,
speaking of 4 and 2, none of the tribes were evenly split 3 and 3 from the old Bion and the old Takeo, and that's gonna make some problems.
Yeah, it was really interesting. They all picked those little cube things, but it's no way that was like they had to have given the men different cubes than the women to keep it all 3 men, 3 women. So they must
Yeah.
have edited it in a way that we didn't see those different cubes. So yeah, really interesting. We also predicted Takeo would be the strongest one. And Joe and Terry Dietz both had a confessional saying like we had the best draft pick, their women are stronger than the others. Like they are an OP tribe. Like I don't see them losing unless they screw something up because they like Cass and Joe rocked that puzzle. Like they got it.
Like Terry Dietz said, even though he is on the minority in the new Takeo tribe, that probably won't matter because I can't see them ever being beaten by Anchor. Oh,
Yeah, what was interesting when they first got like split into the tribes, Kelly Wentworth was throwing Terry under the bus hardcore, saying Terry has the idol. Like, I don't know, would that cause problems for Kelly in the future because people will be like, "Oh, she's playing too hard."
I think that it definitely will cause problems for her because when you throw someone under the bus that hard, everyone knows that you have something to hide because you don't ever shove someone under the bus just because you can, especially considering it didn't seem very likely that her tribe was going to go to tribal council.
Yeah, especially so soon. Like they just got split up and Kelly's already throwing him under the bus. Like they've got Joe and Keith and Terry, all of them are freaking challenge beasts. All of them got a lot of immunities their season. So I don't know. Was she worried maybe? It was just really weird.
It was really weird, but I think that what Tasha and Savage began to do on the Anchor tribe was definitely the smart way to go since they were not as strong physically.
Yeah, definitely. And Tasha saw the crack between PG and Abby and she worked it. I think she could be the MVP for us this episode.
She definitely knew what everyone on that tribe needed to hear in order to vote the way that she wanted them to vote. So,
Yeah. In one of Tasha's confessionals, she was like, she's been on the bottom before with that crappy brains tribe and she's worked through it. And then she's like, if anyone can work through it, I can work through it. So kudos to her. She really pulled it off.
kind of sucks that on her second chance, Tasha still failed pretty spectacularly, though.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this with our predictions for next week, but their tribe isn't looking too hot. They're sleeping on the sand and they don't have shelter. Like, not
Speaking of
looking
which,
good.
I was right about how they were going to do the tribes where whoever just got the suckiest luck got sent to a new beach.
Yeah, poor Savage. He's always complaining, like, oh, in Pearl Islands, the outcast twist got me, and now he's stuck with the new beach, new everything, crazy people on his tribe.
People. So the one new tribe that we haven't really talked as much about is the Bion tribe, other than the fact that they did a lot better than we expected them to do.
Yeah, I think it was the puzzle that really helped them through. They have a lot of intellectuals, like Spencer's smart, Steven's smart, and then, they got that puzzle down and was close sort of at the end between them and then the other tribe.
I think that what really slowed Bion down was the fact that they didn't have as much manpower for pulling the crates, and also Spencer was a little slow with getting those keys off the pole.
Yeah, it was really interesting when they had to pull like the little cart thing over all the sand lumps that uh Takeo, they like moved all of the obstacles, the wood and like the bags, and then I noticed that they like grooved, like they dug the sand out right where the two wheels would line up, so that made it really easy. I was like, why are the other tribes having so much problem pushing it across when Takeo just like bam pushed the cart across?
I think that the investment of time that Takeo made in doing all of those things was definitely worthwhile for them.
Yeah, smart on them. They really use that strategizing time that Jeff gives well. So yeah, back to Bion. Do you want to talk about how Spencer is having some feelings? Good for him.
When Spencer said that he was trying to have feelings, I feel like my heart kind of like burst a little bit inside my chest. Because, like, Spencer, he's such a, like, you can tell that he's a nice kid, but then he struggles so badly with talking with other people. And I just think it was kind of funny that the way that he tried to express the fact that he had feelings was talking about how he couldn't have feelings and how, like, oh, I couldn't tell my girlfriend I loved her. Like,
Yeah.
that's not exactly the way you want to go, Spencer.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And then he picked Jeremy, of all people, to talk to. Good move for him, even though he doesn't know Jeremy's wife is pregnant. But I guess seeing from Jeremy on his season, Blood versus Water, like his connection with his wife. So good for him. Like Jeremy's a family guy, and now he thinks Spencer is a good kid.
I don't think that Spencer would have been as successful if he had tried to play any of the girls that way, just because they all obviously value their family. I think that most people do, but not as much as I think Jeremy does, especially considering the fact that his wife is pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Like, if he talked to Steven, like Steven's not married, so he wouldn't really like have that kind of like connection with Spencer or know exactly what Spencer's feeling. Like Jeremy, he's married, he like loves his wife. He said like being on Survivor with her was like it quadrupled or whatever his love for her. Yeah,
So,
so with
speaking of Jeremy,
yeah, exactly what I was gonna say. That immunity idol.
I thought that he wasn't going to be able to get it just because he seemed a little bit obvious with the fact that he was kneeling beside the box, fumbling with his hands, despite the fact that he didn't have the key.
Yeah, I know. It's so weird. You just like crouch behind the box, like playing with the box. But I mean, everyone must have been like so into like Spencer getting the key that they didn't notice that he was just over there. But it was like perfect timing. Like he got it in his pants, like right when they threw the keys at him to unlock the box. So it happened fast.
Yeah, I don't think he did it quite as smoothly as Kelly Wentworth did, but it still worked out for him in the end. He now has the idol. Speaking of which, I thought it was so funny that he was like, "It's taken me 2 seasons to find an idol, and I finally think I've got this idol." And nope, it's just a clue.
Yeah, it's just a piece of paper. So good for him, found the idol. So now both San Juan del Sur people have gotten idols, except for Keith. So maybe Keith's the next one. But Kelly already has that one. that tribe. So no idols for Keith yet. We'll see.
There might be another idol for the Anchor tribe, though. Could be a chance for Abby to make sure that no one decides to vote her off because she's being annoying, or Woo to make sure that his alliance doesn't suddenly start to dissolve again.
Yeah, I don't know if Abby can find an idol though and
Yeah,
pull it off.
I'm not sure if Woo would be able to do it just because Woo, he tends to be not as strategic with his play, and he doesn't seem to guard his emotions very well. He's very go with the flow, man. So
Yeah, we can talk about Woo later with PG and the tribal council. So yeah, at the end of the immunity challenge, Bayon and Takeo got first and second, so no tribal for them. And then Angkor loses, and then Jeff Varner is like mouthing words to Kelly Wigglesworth, and Tasha swoops in and announces that we've got a rat on our hands.
I was very disappointed that my prediction was not at all correct. I mean, technically it was a little bit correct because he was talking to Kelly Wigglesworth, but it wasn't about her. But I think that that was one of the smartest things that Tasha could have done because I think it sort of sowed the seeds of discontent in within the ranks of their tribe, and it also took a lot of the heat off of her for failing to solve the puzzle and for being the one person on the Brain tribe who did not get her redemption that day.
Yeah, it was really good for Tasha because, that blew up Jeff Varner. So then now the eyes aren't on Tasha and Savage to be voted out. So it was a good thing for her that she got Jeff Jeff Varner almost messed his game up potentially because everyone wanted to vote for him until PG, poor PG.
Honestly, I'm still not sure how Tasha and Savage did it because even though it was brilliant, brilliant social and strategic play, it was just like 4 is obviously greater than 2, and even if you have a problem with Abby, I feel like they could have voted off Tasha or Savage and then voted off Abby, and they'd still end up with the majority.
Yeah, but I see Savage was saying about tribe strength, like they can't really vote out Tasha or Savage because who's left on their tribe. You got Varner, who's sort of like not really that athletic as we thought he was. He's sort of slow and not like physically strong as like the other males on the season, and he's sort of old. And he's only 49. And they got Abby and PG. They might be the more like weaker girls on the season. And then, Woo's strong, but he can't do it all on his own. So he can't really vote out Challenge Beast Tasha or Savage, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but everyone was on board to vote out Varner. They were like, okay, yeah, Varner. And then PG's like, I want to take Abby out. And then when she told Tasha and Savage that, they went and told Abby, and then the vote out was between Abby and PG instead of voting out Varner.
They didn't really give many clues as to whether they were going to vote Abby or PG just because there was so many, I'm voting for this person, I'm voting for this person. It was kind of just a mess to try to explain and figure out, especially going into tribal, which I think was probably part of the idea behind it.
Yeah, everyone said yes, 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 I'm voting for this person. Whoever you say, yep, I'm voting. And then, they kept it on DL who they were actually voting for. And then PG was blindsided, but it wasn't really, I don't know. You want to comment on that?
Well, first off, when I saw the hashtag blindside, I was like, I'm not really sure if this counts as a blindside because PG knew that Abby wanted her out. And she knew that Varner would vote with Abby if it meant that his name wasn't on the chopping block. So I think that PG should have been a little less secure in the fact that um, Savage and Tasha were gonna vote her way. So I'm not sure whether or not it counts as a blindside or just PG being overly confident and then being blindsided. But I don't think it's
Yeah.
a blindside by traditional standards because
Yeah,
they have an idea.
I like the hashtag, I don't know. I didn't really think it fit. Like the audience watching wasn't blindsided per se. Like PG herself may have been blindsided, but I think the episodes are like really good when the producers are able to like edit it in a way that the audience doesn't know who's getting voted out and the person doesn't know like that he or she is getting voted out. I think that would be a good hashtag blindside. Like we knew it was gonna be either PG or Abby, so the one of
If
two
it
of
ended
them.
up being like Varner or Tasha or Savage, that would be a hashtag blindside just because we thought they were all safe. Or
Yeah,
it
see,
would have been Woo.
yeah.
So
Yeah, sucks for Woo. When PG got her torch snuffed, she turns around and is like, "Good luck, Woo." And Woo had that face again, like, "Oh my God, like why would she shout at me out?" Like now he's on the bottom unless something changes. Like he's the odd man out. And then Abby turns and is like, "You voted for me twice now." So Woo's in a tough position.
Woo always kind of looks like a deer in headlights when something he doesn't expect happens. Like he's like, and
Yeah,
I'm not sure if that's the best thing.
he's always on like the butt end of everything. The first tribal, he wasn't in the majority voting Vetus, and he had that like, oh my god, like scare, like yeah, deer in headlights face. And then second vote, and then now with Abby, he just always has that same facial expression, like what's happening.
I think that Woo just needs to be able to read people a little bit better because he doesn't seem to be able to get a very good read.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. Woo's gonna have some problems next week. We'll see. And we didn't get.
That is, hmm?
Yeah, uh, Jeremy didn't get a confessional after he found the idol, so it'd be interesting to hear what he has to say if they give him a confessional. So yeah, it's really interesting about the confessionals this week. Monica Padilla finally got some screen time. Was she still even on the show? Now you know.
Well, she said something that was pretty obvious, but we're getting
Yeah.
there, Monica. We're getting there. I believe in you, Bay.
Yep. Her confessional was basically like, the tribes are like the 4-2 thing. So yeah, it's a good start for her. Terry got 2 confessionals and he's really seeming to like open up. He's being more quirky to the camera, doing his little like pot mixing dance and stuff. Yeah, Steven got 3, depending on how you count them. So he didn't find the idol though. Huh. And I don't know, he seemed very confident in all of his confessionals. He was like, all 4 of us are solid and we can take out Wigglesworth and Spencer. So I don't know if that could be foreshadowing for our dude Fishback.
Confidence is deadly in this game, though. Like, as soon as you go into tribal confident you're not going home, that's when you get your neck slit.
Yep,
But I
that's
think if they had the choice, they'd choose to vote out Wigglesworth over Fishback. Just because I feel like physically they're meh. Fishback might be a little lower, but I think the fact that he was part of their original alliance might help him.
yeah, hopefully that helps him because I want to see Steven go far. Like, so hopefully, Wigglesworth. But she is a strong female, so maybe, I don't know, we'll see with that. Because they have other weaker females on that team. They might need Wigglesworth for the strength. Like, she's buff.
They might. I was kind of disappointed that Steven and Spencer didn't buddy up, just because I feel like they're birds of a feather. But I do think it was smarter for Spencer to cozy up to Jeremy, just because Jeremy's in a more solid position than Steven.
Yeah, they might have talked like off camera because I think they were like friends or and stuff like talking beforehand before the game. So, well, hopefully they're still good, and then they can work together. But yeah, I don't know. It's craziness what's aired and what's not on the TV. So we're only getting like so short of a story being written for us.
When you think about it, they have 72 hours in like every episode that they cut down to 45 minutes, so we don't even see a minute out of every hour, which is kind of crazy. I mean,
Yeah,
even if some of those are sleeping, whatever.
yeah, a lot of stuff gets cut, so it's only like the real deal, good stuff. So, anything else we want to mention before we do predictions?
I don't think I have anything, so on to our predictions.
Okay, we're like 0 for 3 right now. So, you want to
We can
go?
gamble. Um, First, I feel like we should mention the fact that the reward challenge, I think I read somewhere that it's going to be a type of hero challenge where like one person from every tribe is like their gunner and they're the person who completes the whole challenge for them, which to me says food challenge and I love those. I love when they eat disgusting stuff. But
Oh,
and
so
then
they're doing another like reward challenge before the immunity this time?
yep.
Okay.
And then the immunity challenge is blindfolded.
Yes,
And
our favorite.
blindfold challenges, I feel like, are very, very complicated just because they end up being such a way that it doesn't really matter how strong you are if you can't see where you're going.
Yeah, like being blindfolded in like an area that you have no idea. Like it's hard walking with your eyes closed like around the house. Like imagine being blindfolded with those hard, heavy like blocks there that they all run into and then hurt themselves on. So yeah, dangerous and hard. So the callers have got to do a good job in that.
Yeah, that to me looked like it could be a source of a lot of injuries. Well, to make a long story short, I have no idea what's going to happen, and I figure that my guess, I should just like eeny, meeny, miny, moe it at this point. So I'm going to say that Anchor loses again just because I don't think they have anyone who's going to be that strong of a caller. And because they don't really have anyone who's the natural leader type who can give them all direction. Like maybe Savage, but eh. And
That's what I
then
was thinking.
I just, I think the idea of Abby running around blindfolded is kind of scary. So, yeah, and I think if Anchor does lose, it's probably going to end up being Abby because they said that they had a hard time deciding between Abby and PG. Just because Abby is drama queen. But I don't think they'll get rid of Wu just because they do need him for the challenges.
Oh my God, we're gonna have the exact same thing again. Like that's exactly what I was thinking. Like Angor, they're already team morale is down. You know, they got crazy Abby on the team and Varner who is going crazy also. Like and you know, they're sleeping on the floor. They have no food. They have nothing. They can't do anything. So I feel like yeah, them blindfolded, like it could be anyone's game blindfolded because it is sort of like how well the caller does it and like luck that you're good at blindfolded and like reaching down to pick up things and like bringing it back. But yeah, if anger does go back to tribal, you know, they can't get rid of Jeff or Savage or Tasha or Wu really. Maybe Jeff is sort of dispensable, but the other three, they sort of need them because then there'll be 2 down and then the other tribes can sit 2 people out, you know, so then they'll be in some real doo-doo there. So I
I think
think
the
Abby
only
also.
redeeming fact about having to sit people out is the fact that you can't sit the same person out 2 challenges in a row, which is really good just because if you have some of the weaker girls like Bion does, they're not going to be able to sit the same weak person out every time.
Yeah, and also helps them this week. You know, they could sit like Monica or Kimmy out. So, like, being down in the numbers just isn't good for anything. If they go into the like merges down in the numbers, you know, they're going to have some problems later on. So, maybe this is
Especially
like,
considering they have the whole thing where now in the new school kind of game, they don't necessarily vote out the weakest player physically. which is definitely how old school played, but new school they also take in mind social and strategic stuff. So
Yeah, very interesting. All of these different factors coming into this social experiment. Yeah, I don't know. Anchor might be like the new new brains tribe losing everything, or like in Philippines with Malcolm and Denise's bad tribe.
or the tribe where everyone got voted out except for Stephanie.
Yeah, so a lot to look forward this week. New episode on Wednesday. Very exciting. It looked interesting.
So we will see you guys next time. Thanks for
Yes.
liking, commenting, and subscribing. See you next
Yes, thank you. See ya.